Good morning, everyone. Welcome to St. Jacobus Lutheran Church here in Woodside, Queens. For those of you who know me, you'll notice I'm missing something that was on the side of my face. And we gather here in our sanctuary, which has been empty for the past week or two, as we continue to pray for, care for, and do our best to meet the emergency food needs of the people here in New York City, as we have been unable to meet for worship to help slow down the spread of the new coronavirus that's going through our city. We skip this time of worship together, a time that's one of the real centers of who we are as church, to help care for people, to show communities God cares for them through caring for them, to help protect the most vulnerable, to prolong and push back this outbreak so that it can be more manageable for healthcare workers and delivery people and people involved in food services and everyone who's trying to help and care for each other at this time. Now, we're also a few weeks away from Easter, and about 18 days to be exact. Starting on Saturday, March 28th, I'm going to be doing a daily video series about the Gospel of Mark. Now, there's going to be 16 days from Saturday until Easter Sunday, and there are 16 chapters in Mark's Gospel. So I'm going to read through one chapter a day and share some comments and reflections, and I hope to have a time at night where we can gather together and talk about it on Zoom or Facebook or one of these media things. I just wanted to share a little bit about the Gospel of Mark as we begin this journey together. Mark was the first of the four Gospels written, these eyewitness accounts of Jesus' life, ministry, death, and resurrection. The Gospel of Mark is the shortest of the four Gospels and probably the earliest. Most people think Mark was written around the year 65 to 70. When Mark's written, the temple in Jerusalem was not yet destroyed, which is something that the Romans do in the year 70. So most scholars and people who do this work believe Mark was written prior to that event. Now, the Gospel of Mark is very fast. It was written to be read cover to cover in one sitting, at an assembly, at a church, at a meeting of people who wanted to learn about Jesus. And it was written to bring people to faith. There are not a lot of miracles. I think Mark's Gospel has about 19 or 20 in it, and 4 parables. The Greek word outhos, meaning immediately, directly, instantly, appears every few sentences as the reader is absorbed in the story of what happened. As people read through the book, it's very fast-paced. One thing happens right after another. The world is taken by surprise and shock at what God is doing. Now, as we think about the Gospel of Mark, their main theme is this conflict between Jesus and the religious authorities. What Jesus is talking about, teaching, proclaiming, goes against a lot of the practices of the time. Jesus' words are offensive to some people. Jesus' words are also an attack on their very way of life, the way that they live, the way that they earn their money, the way that they use their authority for their own benefit, and things like that. So throughout Mark, we see this escalating conflict between Jesus and the other religious authorities, and this is a conflict that ends with Jesus' death and resurrection. Now, as we look through the Gospel of Mark, we kind of think of it in 2 parts. The first 8 chapters or so show us a very human Jesus. The Jesus who's out serving, caring for people, healing the sick, teaching, instructing, guiding, calling his followers, and then immediately sending them out into the world. Today, a lot of pastors and church leaders are talking about the church is not closed. Our building is closed, but the people of God are now deployed. They're out well, they're home in their communities, and they are caring for people. They're praying. They're doing the work of the church in a brand new and different way. We're communicating with videos like this, and live stream services, and Zoom chats, and all these different things that a lot of churches are way behind on using to connect with people. As we continue in the next few weeks, we're reminded that Jesus' ministry through Mark is one of immediate care, one of immediate concern for people where they are. And that's part of the message that we bring through prayer, through conversation, through calling and checking in on people, and through gathering together to encounter God's word and share a message of love with other people. The second half of the Gospel of Mark consists of Jesus' journey to the cross and death and resurrection. The second part is where we see the conflict with the religious authorities escalate, where one thing happens right after the other, and the conflicts get greater and greater. Now, as we go through this journey together, we are reminded that this is a chance for us, a time or an opportunity to go deeper into our faith, or perhaps even to hear this book for the first time, or to get an introduction to what's at the heart of our faith and who we are as people of God. We continue to pray for all those who are working, all the essential people in our community doing what needs to be done. We continue to pray for an end to this virus, for good care, for good treatment, for recovery, healing. We continue to pray for all those dealing with economic disaster, for all the businesses and stores and people, all of the suffering that we see around us. We continue to pray, and we continue to try to do our part to keep everyone safe and to continue doing the work of the church. Hopefully I'll see you on Saturday morning. Take care.